Hi, and welcome to our kitchen. My name's Tracy,
And I'm Bryony.
and today we're going to be talking about making soup. Not just any old soup, we're going to be talking about making a vegetable soup from whatever you've got in your fridge, and some rules about do's and don'ts, as Brownie said. You said that earlier, whatever you said.
Fundamentals.
Soup
Soup
fundamentals. I
fundamentals.
thought that was excellent. Excellent. So I've got my first soup fundamental on the go because we're going to get this cooking pretty quick smart. I have my onions that I have already fried because we've got to get a little bit of flavour in here at the base of the soup. So onions will be the most important thing in a vegetable soup from the start. Oh dear, my thing flicked it out.
So you're saying that every vegetable soup would start with an onion?
Most vegetable soups will
Okay.
start. Well, yeah, I don't
Generally?
even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're doing like a mixed vegetable soup, it would be a bit crazy not to start off with an onion.
Yeah.
Right? Crazy. Crazy. Bri is going to, actually, you rinse that. I'll chop the celery because we'll pop that in right now because we just got to get this on pretty quick smart, and then we'll start talking about the do's and don'ts and what's going on here. We're cutting these into little dolly portions today because we want this soup to cook pretty quickly. And I would say probably a soup would take a good half an hour from start to finish, wouldn't you, Brian? A good half an hour from start to finish.
Absolutely, at least, yes.
To make sure
Develop
that
for the flavour
yeah, for the
development.
flavour to develop. So in here I've got my onion that I've fried. I just popped a little clove of garlic in there as well because that's always good health-wise as well, probiotic. But adding some, I'm just going to turn this up now as well, adding some celery and leek. So basically what happens is you look in your fridge and you go, oh my gosh, I've got too many vegetables, or what soup can I make? I've only got a little bit of this, little bit of that. Let's make vegetable soup. It's probably the soup that people don't actually have a specific recipe for.
Yeah.
Do you think?
No,
I think-
I did one recently, actually, that was, vegetable soup. But then
Yeah.
I realised when I invited people around saying I've got vegetable soup, and I thought they were vegetarians, but I used chicken stock.
Yeah,
so
that's-
it's not really vegetable soup. But for me, that's fine.
I've sort of thought about that before as well, having Emma around for, for our family dinner on Monday night, and she's a vegetarian. I'll go, oh, we could make that, and I've put chicken stock in it. I'm like, oh, okay, no, we can't make that. Have to put vegetable stock in it. But now that problem is solved. We're going to talk to you about the Urban Forager stock range as well, some concentrated stock, which is just
Yeah, we're
awesome, and
loving
we'll
that.
tell you why in a little while. We are certainly loving that. But we want to get this soup on and simmering, and then we can talk to you all about, the vegetables that you should or shouldn't use in soup, and what could possibly go wrong.
That's right.
Now, one of the little tips that I always learned when I was at college is, it's called sweating, isn't it, Bri? It's a little bit horrible,
Yeah.
this. So I fried the onion and the garlic in some butter and olive oil because it needs some moisture in there. It's good for, we've got olive oil and we've got grass-fed butter or cow's milk. Grass-fed butter. Milk from the butter from the milk from the cows that are grass fed. So that's probably the best butter that you can get. And so we need a little bit of fat in our lives as well because it's good brain food. And get those onions nice and softened. Season the onions first. Very, very good foundation. I then had celery and leek in there. I know that celery, leek, carrots, and onions are a really good foundation for any soup. Whether you're making you could make a mushroom soup, and you can still put those foundations in. You could make a potato and watercress soup and still put those
Well,
foundations
My
in.
current favourite, the pea and ham soup, generally has leek, celery, carrot to start with.
Yeah.
Although I
Yeah.
didn't have celery once and I missed that bit out. It was still amazing.
It would be still good. And I know a lot of people I have found out over the years are not celery lovers, but
I'm
really
not
in
a
soup
celery lover,
aren't you?
and that's
I
why I don't
love
have
celery.
it, because you end up with so much of it.
Oh my gosh.
Unless it's cooked down, I would never eat a stalk of celery.
can I put these in now?
Oh, you ready? Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
I've just
yeah.
got to do my last
Because
potato.
I've just got a little bit of...
I was too busy listening to
It's nice and moist in here, and I'm going to... This is called sweating. So I was frying before. This is called sweating. When you put the lid on, what happens is it keeps all that really fantastic heat and steam in there. So if you're a person that's like, I don't want to put... Because that's what some people talk like, isn't it? I don't want to put oil and butter in my soup. Well, you'll have to do a lot more sweating, and it's not going to be quite the flavour that we're going to get from this soup, because the frying is quite an important flavour
so what
provider.
we were talking about before is the base. Like, so when you're when we went did our training, which is based in French cooking. So the French cooking, the base of what Tracy's saying, the soups, then stocks or sauces, is a mirepoix. And every region has, or every country I should say, has sort of a base. Like, was it South America is onions?
I think capsicum.
I think it's green capsicum and celery.
Yeah.
And that would be the same. So that's South American, and also Cajun, which is all that area. Then Italian.
Did anyone see what happened? Bri didn't.
Oh,
it's all right.
all
Peppery soup. Yep.
I'll just keep talking.
I was just peppering a bit too
you've done
vigorously.
it
Look at all those
Vigorously.
whole peppercorns in there.
I know.
You know, okay, another funny story is I got a pepper mill from the supermarket, because I'm sick of pepper mills that don't grind well.
Oh, for goodness
except
sake.
Except for, of course, the
Not
Dream,
her, but me. Yeah,
Dream Farm one.
yeah, really good
which
at
has got
grinding.
pepper. Yeah, it's never happened before. Anyway, so I just buy the disposable ones from the supermarket, because at least once you've ground that pepper, you throw it and get another one.
I can't get them all out.
Anyway, I did the same
Should we
thing.
come back tomorrow and just
Went to grind the pepper, and the whole top screwed off and dropped into whatever I was making. So I've done it too, so don't worry. So we're talking about the mirepoix, the base.
I'm crying because I've got...
Well, at
You'll
least you're
love this soup.
I will. I love pepper. I'm a pepper lover. It's a family thing. Black pepper. But at least you'll be blitzing it. It's probably not going to be very fine.
I don't know whether the black peppercorns will blitz in there, but
No.
there we are.
might have to,
This is an experiment.
I should
This
need
is
to bring
what
in the
life's all about.
Thermomix, and that'd blitz it up maybe. Still, and anyway, moving on. So we're talking about the mirepoix. So the base, it's the flavour base that you develop on for all stocks, soups, and sauces, which is. And then we've added. I'm just going to chat away.
Why
while
don't
she's
you
speaking.
carry on, because I'm a bit upset about this.
The root vegetables. So there was pumpkin, carrot, and potato, which is what is in my hand. So the reason I'm holding this is to show you the type of potato. I probably won't put this in now. It was the red skin. So you've got royal blue, which this one is, or the ruby blue. Potatoes are floury potatoes, so they're going to help thicken up the soup.
What you don't want is a heavy soup with starchy potatoes in it. You know, like is it Delaware? The
That's
ones
it.
that are good for boiling are not very
I'm gonna
good in
take this
soup,
away
which
then.
sounds a bit crazy.
Take this off you.
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
I'm going to
She's
add the
supposed to
stock.
be doing the
I'm supposed to have got the soup completely
the
done by now.
croutons, but she's obviously busy peeking out. So this is a sourdough
Look at how
bread.
many are in there.
That's actually
Well,
it's a bit stale, this bread, but
Just
it's
look at Bri, don't look at
perfect
me.
for croutons.
I think the cameraman's got his hand up, Bryce.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
no, I'm just Natalie and
Are they laughing their heads off?
Millie. Yeah, they are actually. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yes. Millie's back from Exmouth, feeling the cold.
Oh, good. Yes, I saw you'd ordered your fruit and veggie box this week. Hooray! So that's good. I'll see you on Friday. That'll brighten up my week. Hey?
The funny thing about this, ladies, is that this is the second time that's happened in 2 weeks.
Oh, don't
is that
tell
what
them
happened?
that.
When
I
was
did
that?
it
I
on
didn't-
another recording
okay.
somewhere along the line. I can't remember. But yeah, no, that's it. So once that's nice, once those vegetables are nice and soft, you add your water, right? I'm adding water because some people go, hang
Oh,
on.
now your peppercorns are floating.
Maybe they will.
a genius thing. I've got.
Do you reckon?
Well,
You know what? So the I'll just pretend that these black things in here are not peppercorns or something. So I'm not going. The way to tell if you've got a soup that you want to make and you haven't got a recipe for it and you fancy living on the edge, don't put too much pepper in it. But what you want to do is just put enough water in the soup to just cover it. Okay, because you can always add water. You can't take it out. If you take it out,
Like
it'll have to
peppercorns.
be. If you put too much water in, you have to cook your soup for longer, and then wait for the moisture to evaporate, or ladle some of it out, which is even worse. That's very upsetting. That is, if you have to ladle some of this lovely. Sort of, it's like veggie stock, this, isn't it now? But I'm also going to add to this, some vegetable stock from Urban Forager. So seriously now, stop laughing,
Serious.
everybody. Organic vegetable stock. If you have not used this, it is incredible. So for us who live here in Perth,
I have to get this in the oven. Should
Yeah.
we talk about it later then? When you
yeah,
finish
let's
it?
talk about it when they come out. Have we opened this before? No, we haven't.
Not the vegetable one.
Okay.
Now, Brian, Millie's said well done for keeping on track.
Thank you. It's my job.
All right. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of this vegetable stock concentrate in. So this is all organic vegetables, free-range chicken, not in the vegetable stock. But we've got free-range chicken in the chicken stock, beef in the beef stock, beef bones, and it tastes gorgeous. And this lovely lady, what?
Still picking out.
I know.
peppercorns.
I know. This lovely lady called Lou makes these, and she's absolutely gorgeous. I hope Lou is going to be my friend because I really like her, and she is good fun and awesome, and she makes the most incredible stock. So to get this to cook now, I need to put the lid on and stop being obsessed
I
with
was
the
going to
amount of
say,
pepper.
stop.
I
Yeah.
know,
Worrying
but
about
do you
the
know what? I
peppercorns.
do want to eat this, and I'm just.
Well, it's supposed to be your dinner, so.
It is supposed to be our dinner. Lucky I cooked a
Well,
roasted
so what
chicken
would you,
as well.
if you accidentally put too much pepper in something, does it counterbalance with anything? Like
No,
No.
it's just too much pepper. It's
It's
just
just
too
too
hot,
peppery.
isn't it? How do you
I don't know.
counterbalance that?
I don't know.
No.
More sour cream or something at the end.
Oh yeah, we could do, but no, I don't. It's not really. what
Okay,
I
so
want.
you
It's
put
not really
this in?
what I want, everyone.
No.
So I'm going to put the lid on and really concentrate
Spice.
now on what I'm trying to teach, rather than concentrate on picking out
That's
the
done.
peppercorns. Bry's clearing up, which is awesome.
Yeah, there's peppercorns all over the place. So
I'm going to buy some more peppercorns, I think. This is the second time I've done it. Now, do we need to go back, or are we still
Yeah,
on
so
where we're on?
there were so many things you wanted to talk about, but
There-
you got sort of sidetracked on.
There were.
So we're talking about like thickening of soups as well,
Okay,
and the
so
vegetables,
let's do
the types
the
of
thickening.
vegetables. Yes.
She's good, isn't she? Lucky we chatted a little bit beforehand, didn't
Yeah.
we, and got it all sorted. So how
Excuse
to make
me.
your let's swap sides. How to make your soup thick. So this soup I have pumpkin and I have potato in there. So that's going to be the thickener,
Yep,
isn't it?
yep.
We haven't put anything else in there that will actually thicken the soup. So potato is obvious as a soup thickener. That's
Yeah.
all right. Thank you very much for doing that.
That's
Potato
all right.
is obvious as a soup thickener, but try and buy the floury variety, as Brony said,
Yeah.
so that your soup isn't sort of
Yeah.
slippery
well, I never
and starchy.
really buy the white skin potatoes at all
I
because
don't
the
either.
red ones, whether it's royal blue's normally my first choice, ruby blue if there's no royal blue, and they're the best all-round potato roasting. Chips, etc. I did not put a timer on for that.
Okay, I'm just
living on the
checking
edge.
because I've also put the oven up to 190, so just
All
watch
right.
out for that. It's not 180. Can you just start talking, Mr. Cameraman? Because the light, being such a huge star as we are, the light
right.
is
Oh, is
coming
he
right
sticking
into
his hand
our-
up or something?
Yeah, and I sort of can't really see him because the
No,
lights are dazzling.
Well, I'm
me.
not sort of looking.
I'm just about to say the ladies have decided you should change the name of the soup to peppercorn soup.
No. No, it's vegetable
Peppercorn
soup.
with some
Yeah,
vegetable.
would you like vegetables with your peppercorn soup?
Yeah.
That's the one. If I didn't want potato in my soup, and some people are not eating potatoes or as many potatoes as perhaps before or ever, then
poor potato.
I know, it's so sad because it's got loads of
Well, it's
nutrients
better than
in
having
it as well.
pasta or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
Depends how many potatoes you eat.
yeah. So there was only a little bit of potato in
No,
there.
I was thinking about overeating a roast last night.
Okay.
So good.
Potato. What you can do is, if you don't want potato in your soup, you can actually make your soup with a roux base. So if I was going to make, the other day, I just put up on Instagram, I think, yesterday, about my tomato soup, which I'm pretty sure is on the Cook's Collective, my favourite cream of tomato soup. And that is made with a roux base. So I fry the onions in butter and add some garlic, and then add a little bit of flour, stir it through, add your stock, add your tomatoes, add tomato paste as well, and I put a little sprig of rosemary in there as well. So I quite like rosemary with the tomato soup. It's really nice, just a little sort of infusion of rosemary. It's really lovely. And I made that with a roux, so no potatoes in there. If I make mushroom soup, I would make it with a roux base, so no potatoes in there. When I first worked at Kate Lamont's, I was shock horror to find that Kate put potatoes in her mushroom soup. I'm like, why would you put potatoes in? But it's funny, isn't it, how you've make things there's a certain way for so many years, and then see somebody else doing this, bearing in mind this must have been 20 years ago at least. So I was a little not quite as knowledgeable as I am now, I suppose. And I was really shocked with it. It's really good. It works really well. And I know that if you want to put a little bit more pizzazz or zhuzh in your mushroom soup, that you put thyme in. So as a chef, having cooked for so many years and having read and having tasted and having, experimented so much, I know what goes with what. And that is one of the questions that we get asked a lot in class. Like, if I've got rosemary, what can I cook? What goes really well with this vegetable soup? What goes well with a mushroom soup if I wanted to put a herb in? So we certainly know these types of things. But I was gifted this book called The Flavour Thesaurus. And it's an absolutely fabulous little book. There's like a flavour wheel in here, and it's got all the different flavours right the way around the wheel. So things like floral, fruity, roasted, meaty, cheesy, earthy, mustardy, sulphurous, marine, brine and salt, green and grassy, spicy, woodland, fresh fruity, creamy fruity. It's amazing. How brilliant is that? Look, fresh fruity, right? This is, if you know your fresh fruit, it'd be very easy to understand what they talk about, as opposed fresh fruity as opposed to creamy fruity. So fresh fruity: cherry, watermelon, grape, rhubarb, tomato, strawberry, pineapple, apple, pear. Creamy fruity, I love this: banana, melon, apricot, peach, coconut, mango. That's brilliant, isn't it?
So
I love it.
What's the point of this? Is this, you don't use like one from everything, obviously.
So what I do is I go spin it round like this really fast and go like that, and that's.
And
what
then
I'll
how
cook.
many flavours do you put in?
Well, the whole idea is what goes with what. Pairings, recipes, and ideas for the creative cook.
And I think
So what were we looking at before? We were looking at mushroom, weren't we? Before?
I think one thing that I've learnt from you particularly is about picking a couple of flavours and sticking with that. As I was telling Tracy before, I did this soup years ago of all the leftover. Like, I thought, let's just roast all the vegetables I've got left when I was doing a roast, and then make whatever's left into a soup. It sounds good in theory, but it's not. When there was so many different vegetables, it actually came out brown and quite disgusting, really.
I think we've all made a disgusting soup in our lives,
Yeah,
haven't we?
so
Definitely.
like pick a couple of key flavors. So here there's actually 6 different vegetables, but it's a vegetable soup.
But this is why it can get complex.
Yeah, but if you went a
Or
bit
wrong.
more and then picking the right vegetables, which is what you've discussed in the recipe. You've actually gone through that a little bit as well. Sweet vegetables.
I've made it much simpler than this wheel. But if you put too much sulfurous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower into a soup, and not enough root vegetables, which are sweet, you haven't got that balance. So it's really tastes a little bit sulfurous.
Yeah, so sweet vegetables, green vegetables, brassicas.
Yeah, well, the brassicas are the sulfurous vegetable. You know what it smells like if you overcook your cauliflower or overcook your broccoli in the kitchen. It's not very nice at all, is it? So it really is knowing the balance of what to put in together. So in this soup, if we go from this vegetable wheel, we've actually got...
Bri, can you give her a teaspoon, please?
Mushrooms and... You know what I thought would be really good?
Yes.
Yeah. Is look, I'm going fishing now.
You're doing an aerial shot so they can see what she's...
I know.
I'm quite good at this.
Yeah, look at that.
It's like being at the fair when I was a kid.
Skimming
and you have
the
to
soup.
catch things. So I've got celery in here and mushrooms, both of which on the wheel are earthy. And so that's earthy. Then we've got, your carrots and pumpkin, sweet. The potatoes are definitely for thickening purposes as well. And so I've got quite a nice balance in this soup. Apart from what I would say is that it can become quite sweet. So the onions and the leeks together will definitely offset that. But I wouldn't go and put anything like peas in here or eggplant, or you could probably put red capsicum in here if you wanted to. I'd prefer them roasted first, but red capsicum in here. But you would, there's certain things that you just don't put in.
So you've got quite a bit of sweetness in there, so it needs to be balanced out with salt.
Salt, absolutely. So when we're making this, if we can have the teaspoons out, I will actually taste. We'll just taste this from a stock level.
That's what, even though it's a vegetable soup, say it's not a vegetable soup. Something that,
now,
sweet,
absolutely.
Something like bacon in a soup as in
on
your
the
base
top.
as well. Not.
See, I would put crispy
sprinkling.
bacon on the top. Would be absolutely delicious in this soup. Don't know whether I'd put it into the soup because I'm sort of
blitzing it.
trying to keep it a bit veggie, and I am blitzing it. But
I always say about adding bacon to everything.
I-
Everything would be great with bacon.
The other thing that would be quite nice on here is like a walnutty, like you could add some, they look a bit, they look as if they're done. Add some lightly toasted walnuts with your toasty croutons. And I just had a brilliant idea then, and it's totally gone out the window. But you could put your bacon in there, bacon, walnuts, croutons. Oh, I know, a tiny little bit of vinegar. Because I remember that Millie liked that vinegar in the sauce when we were making that sauce video with the pork, wasn't it?
Perfect.
And that was really nice. So just a little bit of sharpness in here would go down really well as well.
So the croutons you saw, I just tore those up, cut the crusts off it because it was fairly stale sourdough bread.
If you can hardly cut the crusts off, they're definitely not going to be very nice croutons, are they?
And
But
then
leave a
just
bit of
drizzled
crust
some
on.
oil over them, pop them in the oven. So that's super quick and easy to get some crunch. So it's also about texture as well with soup. That's what I've never been a huge soup person, although mushroom soup, of course, because that's the mushaholic. But as I've got my new... This year's thing for me is the pea and ham soup.
Yep.
And I love that because it's actually got texture. And it's a thick soup, and that's
And
thickened
you've got
obviously
your
with
salty
the
as
split
well
pea. Yeah,
in
so
the-
it's
in the ham.
salty with the
Smoky,
ham, and it's
salty.
not just like I like to actually chew my dinner, not drink.
Yeah.
And so having texture like this, which is the croutons or the ham, because it is bacon, really, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Yeah,
I like it.
absolutely.
Bacon's
Absolutely.
shredded through.
Every time I stir this, I think, I
There's
think
another
I've got them.
peppercorn.
I think I've just.
So have
about
you
got them
adjusted
out.
the salt then?
No, definitely not. Now, whether whether I would say to put in just more salt or put in a little bit more magic in the form of the stock paste, I would probably go for stock paste, because
how
see
much
the
did you
colour
put
of
in?
that? I put in a tablespoon, so it's 1 teaspoon per cup of water, and these make 10 litres of stock, so it works out at just under $2 a litre. For this, these are $19.50 for a 250 gram, but pretty heavy, 250 gram stock concentrate. So value for money. See, it gets a bit addictive.
We
doesn't it?
have you talked about that we've got them in stock?
We've got them, we retail those, the stock concentrates now. So if you want to buy some when you're in class next, you certainly can. Otherwise, you can purchase them within where you purchase your fruit and veggie boxes as well, online at mattersoftaste.com.au. So those are a very handy addition to your pantry, because I've used them in so many different things. It's not just for soup when you're using that. If you make a risotto or something, you can add a little bit through them. If you make
that's what I was saying, like even like anything wet dishes, casseroles and so on, if you just put a bit of veggie stock or whatever,
gravies,
that's right,
sauces,
just adds to the flavour.
I wouldn't put it on pavlova.
No. And as I've always made the stocks in this kitchen, we've never found one that is ideal, as in without preservatives and so on, until this one came along, and it's from Western Australia. It's actually around the corner from my house.
It's made in Frio.
Yeah,
Hammy Hill.
and
could I have another spoonable
teaspoon
thing? Well, it doesn't really matter.
And Millie's ordered a beef stock this week with her
Millie's
fruit and
ordering
veg.
beef stock. We used it in our Vietnamese class for the pho recently, and the pho, it takes me 2 days to make the beef stock.
Yeah.
And this time I just put water in a pot, and we added the stock paste. So
It was
it's
stunning, wasn't it? It was
amazing
really
time
good.
saver. And even at my house, I make chicken stock, and I'm going to be taking some of this home.
It's really good if you haven't got any fresh stock in your freezer, isn't it? Because we may try as hard as we can, but just we don't always have time to make stock. So
no, and then you think, oh, I'm going to make whatever, and then you've got to go through the process of the stock, and it's just taking it.
And gluten and dairy free, low in salt, no added sugar, palm oil, yeast or fillers.
Yeah.
So
loving this, and it lasts a year in the fridge once it's open, and it's got WA salt in it, WA lake salt, olive oil, certified organic, amazing. So
fabulous stuff.
Purchase that on our website with your fruit and veg box, or not with your fruit and veg box, whichever.
Where you can pop in and just purchase it on its own. Don't just purchase it online. Come in and just do it like that. So are there any soupy questions? Has anyone had, I've never had a soupy disaster, ever. Oh, just about today. But no, I think we've all cooked a soup and gone, oh dear, that's really not the best, is it? But let's have a little taste of that now, again, with that extra vegetable stock in it, and we'll see if that gives us enough salt, or we need to add more salt.
About the amount of liquid that you put in. I have previously, it's too liquidy, and then it's like, oh, now I want to boil it down some more just to intensify that sort of flavour a bit more.
I think, as I said at the beginning, I said this, is when you're adding liquid to soup, you just cover your vegetables, because you know that you're going to get is that better?
Salty now, yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Too salty?
No,
just nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. So you can add, when you blitz it, it'll be really thick, and then if it's too thick, then you add some more water to it or some more stock to it.
Yeah, so it's better to go less than more.
Much better to go less than more.
Yeah.
And then you can eat your soup sooner rather than later, because if you have to boil it down to get rid of a lot of the water or the liquid, it's too good to just chuck down the drain. So I'm going to blitz that now. Ta-ta! And I'll probably turn that off, because having soup blitzed all over you. Be interesting to see if they do actually, or if,
No,
the,
they're
if the
not.
soup's lovely and smooth, and the peppercorns are sort of floating
Yeah.
around.
It's
No,
like
they are
when I
breaking
made
up a little bit.
my Malaysian curry recently, and I had people round. I was like, oh, just be careful because there's star anise in it. I think I got every piece of star anise in my bowl. I was like, well, at least
no.
the guests didn't get it.
Oh, sorry. That's lucky though, isn't it? If you get those bits. Have
Yeah.
you had luck at some point in your life?
Apparently.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky because you're here with me today now.
Yeah.
That's really lucky.
I got to watch.
Now, the other thing about when you're blitzing soup as well is I can also look at this and go, this looks as if it could have had a little bit more pumpkin in it if you wanted it, but this is sort of quite a fine colour. But the last time I made it, I'm pretty sure it was a brighter colour than this, but this could have been because of the pumpkin that I used. So I would be using probably more Jap pumpkin at home rather than the butternut. Yeah, and it usually gives a little bit of a better colour, and I think a better flavour as well, really, all over. It's very loud, this, isn't it? So you can definitely put it into a, well, I might need that again, but you can definitely put it into a,
Jug?
no.
What?
What do you cook with?
Thermomix.
To make it really nice and smooth. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, taste that now.
Yeah, the Thermomix blitzes this sort of thing really well.
It's really peppery. Isn't it? This is like pepper soup.
Yeah.
So,
Good. I'll try that.
it's quite nice and smooth, isn't it?
Mm.
Like, I think that that's just about the right texture for a soup. I don't like soup to be so thin that it sort of, if the wind gushes past
Oh
it,
yeah,
sort of flies
absolutely,
off its
absolutely.
spoon. And I don't like it so thick
consomme
that you
or
can,
something. You know.
you can
Oh,
stand
you
your...
done
Yeah,
with
but
this?
this is a blended soup, isn't it? So it's
Yes.
supposed to be thick. So here's our vegetable soup. Here's our pepper soup with vegetables.
Oh,
And what?
oh,
did you-
after crunch?
Do you think... I don't know whether we should put this one up on the Cooks Collective, Anthony, Mr. Cameraman.
Oh, it's funny.
I think everyone just laughs at me all the time. It's a bit whiny, isn't it?
It is.
Whiny.
Oh, look at this.
So
Stop
I
it.
would be putting a little bit of milk in here as well. So
Yeah,
that's
we've got
what
sour
that's what
cream
I
in the
that's what I
fridge.
really like. And we've got sour cream in the fridge because I said to Brian,
So-
you know what? I'd be stirring through a little bit of sour cream in here.
Yeah, so you do a little bit of a swirl in there.
I'm just going to get a spoon from over here because I'm not allowed to go over there.
And
Millie said you don't seem to have added much liquid. If you were not blitzing it, would you have added more
more what? Sorry?
liquid?
Liquid, if you're not blitzing it.
Good question. You could, but I don't know how. If you want to, Millie, that's what I'd say. If you want to, I'm just going to add a little bit more to here. This one's a bit. The tide's out. On both of them a bit. Otherwise, we'll see all bowl and no soup.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bryony, your croutons are stunning.
Yeah.
I could actually have like.
Oh, I just had the crouton. I ate
Yeah.
the crouton.
They're just really yummy.
Oh,
And what you
I had
can.
Oh, you've got the
What you
thing.
can do with that is you can actually... Oh, yeah, you had it in a nice pot. I've
Yeah,
just
I
got
was
it
like
out of the big thing like that. What you can do is actually put some Parmesan cheese on these as well in there, and you've got like cheesy croutons, which are really nice.
Or garlic cheesy croutons.
Yeah,
Or chili croutons. or-
awesome. Chili, garlicky, cheesy croutons, or whatever you
Yum-o.
want to do. So I've just put now soup in that sour cream. Let's just get that out, because that would be silly, wouldn't it? But that mixed in will then create, I think, just taking that edge off the peppercorns.
Yeah.
It would just be a really lovely.
So you were
soup.
explaining why adding milk or why adding like a protein as
I
not
think
protein, it's dairy.
I think it's a savouriness thing for me. I think it's a savouriness thing. It's almost like adding parsley as well. These the green on the top. I love parsley through this soup
And-
because you've just got such a gorgeous like green flavour
Yeah, it's
in
sort
the
of freshness
sweetness
you
of that
want.
vegetable soup.
Yeah, also would the fat, because like sometimes if they put like cream or something on top of a soup, or
Yeah,
like,
very
instead of
often
the sour
it's quite
cream.
It's quite
But
French, isn't
maybe
it?
the fat cuts through the sweetness as well of
Yeah,
some
absolutely.
of the vegetables.
So you could definitely, if you just wanted to put a little bit of whipping cream in there or double cream in there, like thickened cream or sour cream. But I quite like the sharpness of the sour cream. But don't go out and buy sour cream, especially if you've got other cream in your fridge. And if you don't want cream, don't want to do that. Just a splash of milk in there. Do you know what? The other thing is really important is if you wanted to do something like put the milk in, you're going like, oh, I'm not really quite sure what it's going to taste like. Take some soup out into a little bowl, put a little bit of milk in, stir it around, taste it. And then you go, I really like that. And you've just got a little bowl. Or you go, no, I don't like that. And you've just got a little bowl. You haven't put it, done the whole of the soup. So if you're ever concerned about flavouring something or more salt or less pepper or more pepper or whatever, then take a little bit out, put a little bit in of whatever you're thinking would be good in there, give it a taste, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you haven't wrecked the whole soup. So that is a very important thing when you're learning about tasting, I think.
Okay.
So there we are. We've got Ruth
we've got a
at the... Oh, we've got a question before we go to Ruth.
Was the bread just tossed in oil before baking?
Yes,
Correct.
it was just tossed in oil. That's
Correct.
right.
So the recipe is on the Cooks Collective, and you will find the recipe on there. And I'm just going to sit this. I don't know.
We're going to
how
find
we're
out
looking.
from Ruth
I'm gonna
what
find out
wine
from
she's
Ruth,
pairing
yeah.
this week with.
With the vegetable soup, and it's quite interesting. It is a rosé, and not just any rosé. So listen to Ruth from the wine box in South Perth, and she'll recommend you a lovely drop to go with this soup.
Hi, it's Ruth Hall here from the Wine Box in South Perth. Now Tracy this week has asked me to match a Southern Forest vegetable soup. This was actually quite challenging because I don't always think of a soup and wine matching, and I have gone from every extreme, from Chardonnays through to Chiantis through to very, very light sublime whites. But ultimately I have decided that the simpleness of the vegetable soup needed a clean but neat and crisp accompaniment. So after going from every extreme, I've actually settled on an old favourite of mine, which is the Turkey Flat Rosé. Now the reason why this works so well is because it's a Grenache base. Now the Grenache in the rosé will keep it slightly savoury, it will keep it structured, it won't become blousy or too fruit forward at any stage, and should retain its beautiful acidity and help balance the wonderful produce from the Southern Forests. I hope you enjoy it.
So it's really great. We're learning so much from Ruth. She's fantastic at doing this job. So thank you so much, Ruth. It would be very interesting to taste that Grenache rosé with this beautiful soup. So there we go. Our lovely pepper vegetable soup. Don't do what I've done. And enjoy using this stock because it really does make a huge
awesome.
difference, and it's very, very flavoursome. So next week we are going to be doing a chicken dish, and it's a little Greek chicken number. We're going to be cooking quinoa with this. There's lots of different things that you can cook with it, and we'll tell you all the alternatives. But quinoa as a little bit more of a nutritious it's not even a carbohydrate, it's just a seed,
Grain.
isn't it?
A
It's
seed.
not a grade, it's a seed, so everyone can eat it, even if you are gluten intolerant. Yes, Mr. Cameraman.
Now, Jan's gone and said,
Jan.
Tracy, you provide light and laughter in what is an ordinary time in our lives.
Oh, thanks.
Jan, that is very, very gracious of you to say that. Thank you. So whether we'll be having this soup for supper or not, I've got no idea. But
Tracy
it doesn't
just likes
taste
to
too
show
bad, does
that
it?
things don't always go right in the kitchen.
No,
And
they
it's like-
don't. They don't. So you just got to go.
I have
"Oh,
suggested
well,"
we put
like
together
that.
a blooper reel one day, and that would be quite funny.
Be a bit long, I think, to watch. Thank you so much for watching us this
Bye.
week, everyone. Enjoy your vegetable soup, however you make it. Bye.